Welcome to Lisa's Forbidden Entries, where I read RPG horror stories and react to what should have never happened. Today's Forbidden Entry was given permission to be read by Reddit user Mad Skeptic Blog and has been named Not Allowed to Join the Party. This is from a recent game that I joined and lasted like a couple sessions before calling it quits. Cast of characters. DM. Me, new player, playing a swashbuckler rogue. Bard, other new player. Paladin, barbarian, halfling. I don't know what class they played, it didn't come up. Our DM was running an Isekai campaign for 5e D&D. The idea being that our characters could come from just about any world, but got pulled to this one to serve a demon lord instead of the usual trope of serving a kingdom.
Look alive, this could get interesting.
The premise was dealing with tough moral questions, which I thought was intriguing. A couple players had left the game, and they needed a couple replacements. So me and another player, Bard, were dropping into the game after they had played a few sessions. I was super pumped.
Seems a bit suspicious to me.
The setup for our characters, though, was that we were summoned by one of the kingdoms to defend against the demon lord.
I don't know, I thought you were different.
I figured, okay, this setup sounds like maybe we join up with the demon lord later, and this was the DM's way of dropping us into things. Each player got a choice after our characters survived a battle prior to playing. Serve the kingdom and go with the lord to a neighboring kingdom, or go our separate ways.
How would that work?
I chose the latter. Bard chose the former. We both get off of the same ship in said neighboring kingdom and enter the city with no fuss or drama. As a side note, as we roleplay throughout the game, the DM would interject as we're talking to suddenly give us details about our previous worlds out of the blue and have us run with it.
The impudence! The audacity!
Like, my character was supposed to be a down-on-their-luck person who never got to go to college/university because they couldn't afford it, and kept working odd jobs to support her mother. But suddenly,
college and university don't exist in your world.
Which suddenly throws a wrench in my backstory, but I roll with it. Later, when the topic of world wars came up when comparing two characters, I'm suddenly told there were 5. I went and wrote an entire backstory for my character's world based on these prompts, trying to roll with it and enjoy it. And I sort of did. But it should have been a sign from the jump that the DM doesn't respect player autonomy. He seemingly just likes throwing curveballs at them and watching them jump.
Surprise!
Bard gets pickpocketed and is led to believe in character that a certain NPC had done it. It's a recurring NPC the established party had run into, so some of the established party, I bet, were pumped. So he chases the thief to get his money back. Unbeknownst to him, it was another group who had stolen his money. My character caught the act. I stole back the money purse and go to return the money as what I hope will be my intro to the party, as the rest of the party are chasing down the source of the ruckus as Bard tried to accost what was essentially an innocent person. When we encounter the party, Paladin, Barbarian, Halfling, however, me and Bard informed that they have an aura around them, both visually and mentally, that tells us that they mean us harm and that we find them threatening.
What?
And the party was informed likewise of us. When I go to run away, thinking it's 3v1, maybe 3v2, I don't want a PvP in the first session, and this is in character, I'm told I have a seizure and fall over after a bit of a struggle, as does Bard.
My question is, what the hell?
We both are given privately different visions of near-death experiences. I only know mine. And then wake up. Bard has a mark on his leg and is no longer hostile to the party, but my character still is, presumably because I passed a wisdom save while Bard failed his. My unconscious body is carried to an inn so they can figure out what to do with me. When I come to, I am stuck in a room with the party and some NPCs the DM runs. The players have no idea what to do with me, but come up with an idea to use the fact that I am not registering as hostile to the kingdom they want to go to work out a way to have the princess that is with them reunite with her brother. I agreed to go along with it because I want to find a way home. All the while, the aura is still there, and the halfling is role-playing it by playing with their dagger. I am told there's a mark on the back of my neck, which among the players, I seem to be the one player who can't see their own mark.
Well, you got me. By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
I don't know it's there. The only people telling me this are people I am told I continue to find threatening and believe mean me harm. In character, I believe I am kidnapped and being roped into this, and I'm going along with it purely because I have no other option. Really, out of character, I know I can run at any time, and I just want an excuse not to be pushed away from the party again. DM asks the halfling to roll a wisdom save, then proceeds to take control of the character and have them attack me. The character is supposedly from the future and has a chip in their brain that helps them defend themselves, and it manifests as trying to unalive me for the aura. So after we just got the band together, I am running for my life again as the DM puppets this player's character.
I am losing my mind.
Despite being a rogue and able to move, dash, and bonus action dash, and the halfling having a lower base speed, it's ruled that they keep up somehow and tackle me to the ground. All the time, they are apologizing for their character as they are going after me with a dagger. I manage to escape the grapple and run finally because out of game, I don't want to have to unalive a fellow player because the DM set me up into a fight. In an effort to get the band back together, again, I whisper the DM that I would head to the palace because I have the mark. I want to warn the noble that these people are coming after him for some purpose, likely to do him harm. The idea is to get ahead of the party, let the noble sort things out, and at least put myself in their path. Or, preferably, they see me there when they go there for the same thing and, oh, it's you again, and we continue on. But the information I got when conscious was they wanted to see a prince to reunite them with the princess they were traveling with. The bard who had traveled here with the lord kept talking like they were expecting the prince to be here. So I assumed in character, and a little out of character because I had forgotten the rank of the guy with the bard since it wasn't anything to do with me at the time, that they were. And when talking about it to the guards of the palace, I am told it's a different prince. This one here is 3 months old and doesn't have a sibling. I, in character, throw up my hands and tell them, look, I just know what I was told. I don't get it either. I just want protection from them. I am questioned and arrested. I had claimed to have been kidnapped, but I have my weapons and gear, and they look at me funny, to which I reply, yes, I escaped. I have weapons, but no papers stating my allegiance, something I did not need to enter the city in the first place, but is somehow something required by law here for everyone, including foreigners. It's even made to sound like every single country and kingdom has the same law about allegiance papers. So despite no one checking me for papers when I got off the boat, or issuing me temporary ones when I entered legally, I am arrested and my gear is taken.
You have a problem.
Everything except my clothes, and a couple daggers I somehow managed to stash with sleight of hand. 2 of the established party, Barbarian and Paladin, are also arrested based on my description of them, and the arresting officers all have amulets to spam hold person at will, which the Paladin kept shrugging off. When he said he'd go willingly and they didn't need to go through all of this, the guard stated by resisting the spell he was resisting arrest, an arrestable offense, and continue to spam hold person and try to dogpile him in grapples, which said Paladin keeps passing the resist on until finally rolling low once.
It just keeps getting worse and worse, you know?
Despite my story being questionable enough to arrest me and toss me in the dungeon, and clearly getting many pertinent facts wrong since I, in character, don't know where I am because I was isekai'd, they had gone out and arrested anyone who looked vaguely like my descriptions. Cells were filled with women with the same hair color as the barbarian.
I don't understand.
While in prison, we're interrogated, and again, they repeat that we didn't have papers. I remind them I'm not from here, and I didn't need papers to enter. And they make it seem like every kingdom has this requirement of allegiance papers, so I should have it from where I am from. When I mention where I am from, they claim not to know of that country. "Do you know every single country in the world?" They say yes, to which I call bullshit. Basically doubling down on the excuse to arrest them at every turn, I eventually refuse to talk to them and tell them to find me someone less of a prick. They then move on to interrogating Paladin across the hall from me. When the interrogator finally leaves, I go to break out. I improvise a lockpick out of my character's brow wire to try to escape my cell. They are from modern Earth and wear modern clothing, hence knowing I'd have one. But it's all for nothing. Evidently, our cells were unlocked, and the guards in the hall were dead, but still standing. One with his spine ripped out, and one supposedly with one of my daggers, even though I had both, in his back.
That's even more confusing.
We have guards show up, dragging Barbarian along, and they see the dead guards and me holding a bloody dagger. They sound the alarm and go to unalive us.
I think he hates you.
I end up dispatching them because I'm the only one armed, and as a swashbuckler, I can get sneak attack fairly easily. Then the whole castle shakes. The city is being bombarded by magic, and the castle and much of the city is being destroyed.
Who has time amidst all this chaos?
We flee through a passage that leads outside. Every other path is blocked by rubble, but for some reason, leads past the throne room, having only what we stole off the guards' corpses to gear up the other two.
Railroads.
We end up rescuing the prince from his kingdom, who again is 3 months old, and for some reason looks exactly like Paladin's dead child. When we get outside, overpowered enemies are slaughtering the city, some using our gear confiscated from us during the arrest to do it. A giant is wearing Paladin's distinctive helm, likely so he can claim people recognize us later from stories, even though we no longer have said helm.
How? I don't know.
We get blasted by fireballs and otherwise have one-sided attacks thrown at us to show off how badass they are, but no initiative is rolled, ever, in this game. We don't really get a chance to fight back, even if any of us could.
I'm writing a novel.
They leave with said gear, aside from one sword that was destroyed after it was left embedded in a wall holding up a corpse of a random civilian they unalived. Apparently the bombardment bent and melted it soon after as a meteor strikes rain down based on a 50-50 roll.
It'll be chaos! It'll be chaos!
So we never got our starting gear back, including the 500 gold I was given at start and never was allowed to spend. Especially since I can't read any of the languages here, so I can't read signs. 3 of the 5 members of the party are left with nothing. They didn't scrounge. 2 of those being established party members. After the chaos, the DM wants to showcase how the city held orcs as slaves, and has an orc beating a nobleman to death with his chains. When I offer to undo his chains for him, literally saying, "Go ahead, unalive him, I just want to make it easier," he threatens to unalive me because I'm an elf. I'm human, but regardless. Likewise to the party when they see the whole debacle and join, and choosing something different to handle the situation. They end up being forced to unalive him because we were not able to talk to the orc in any manner that isn't unaliving him. At this point, I'm slowly tuning out because it feels like the DM is just slapping us down repeatedly for the fun of it.
Yep.
We find someone sympathetic who takes us to refuge of sorts while we figure out our next moves. I don't remember who, besides a name, and them living in an extra-dimensional space inside a tree. I sort of given up at trying at this point, because nothing we do seems to go anywhere or make sense. My character is allowed to join the group, and the halfling promises not to try to unalive them again, even though they never chose to do that in the first place as a player. DM stops to give an out-of-character apology because someone else had complained privately about the heavy-handedness and constantly throwing stuff at us to send us all different ways. And I have a chance to bring up how he's treated my character. After an apology, after I tell the DM, I have no reason in character to stay with him because of the mark he put on me and gave me no way to remove. He gives me 3 options. Make a new character, he makes me marked like the others in the party, or I have no mark at all. I point out I have no idea what the difference is between unmarked and having one, since it's not explained if these marks do anything besides hinder the party, and chose to be markless. He agrees to just remove it. He thought he gave the party the info they needed to deal with it, and thought it would have been resolved earlier. But from the description of the effect, it sounds like they didn't have the tools to do any such thing. It's supposed to be a sign of a contract with the Demon Lord, and they aren't there.
What are we supposed to know about it?
Okay, so there was the Isekai story. The whole time, I swear, I was so confused. I did not know what was going on from step to step, and I feel like that would be super difficult as a player to go through, because the whole reason we play D&D, or I do, is because of the story. And while some of this could have been interesting, like being isekai'd for the Demon Lord, that was such an interesting idea, but then they got isekai'd to a kingdom, and then all of a sudden they were told, like, either leave the kingdom or help the kingdom, but then they all went to the same place. It was really confusing, and I thought it was funny when I heard that a giant was wearing the paladin's helm. I was like, how the hell is a giant wearing a helmet? It just didn't make sense. This whole thing was chaotic. I really wish that it wasn't so railroaded, that the DM actually figured out how to make the Demon Lord a core part of this. Because what happened to the Demon Lord? He wasn't even there. And the whole reason they were isekai'd was to help this Demon Lord who didn't show up. And I feel like they had so many different ideas, and they just kind of threw the characters in. Like, at one point, I felt like it was more of a novel, especially when they said that no initiative was rolled. They weren't even allowed to actually fight. Like, they said that there was no initiative rolled for the whole thing, and that just seems ridiculous, because part of D&D is initiative, figuring out who's going first, who's going to be fighting. You know, a lot of D&D is fighting. Where was the fighting? Well, I guess there was fighting. It was just more, one of the players was literally puppeted by the DM. Another was being arrested. Another was a giant just throwing things, and then a meteor strike. Where did the meteor strike come from, by the way? It just literally came out of nowhere. It was just like, oh, by the way, you're in prison. You get out. They're all dead. They see you. You are now cause of concern. They try to kill you. You get out. You somehow have the baby. You are attacked by, like, a bunch of monsters, and then all of a sudden a meteor strike. Like, none of it made sense. And I don't like the fact that the whole time the OP was literally trying to become part of the party, and the DM kept stopping it. Like, why? It didn't make sense. It was like, oh, by the way, they have an aura. They want to kill you, and you want to kill them. And I'm like, why? Why? And then one of them, the bard, gets the aura off, and yet they didn't. And then the DM puppeted to attack the OP, which, why was the DM so for PvP? It doesn't make sense. But I need to stop, otherwise I'm going to be saying the same things over and over again. I hope you all had a good time reading a Forbidden Entry with me today. If you would like to read another, please subscribe. If you would like to add your own take to our Forbidden Entries, please give a comment and start some discussions. I hope you all have a fantastical week, and I will see you soon. Bye!